He said he loved us. But he kept files. I found a notebook full of experiments, and her name was on every page. By the time I unlocked the attic, I knew. This was never just about betrayal. I don't think people understand what it means to break silently. Not the kind of break that screams or throws plates. I mean the kind where your body goes through the motions. You get up, you make toast, you brush your hair, but your voice forgets how to say, "I'm still here." I didn't cry when he left. Not that day. I just stood in the hallway, holding the pregnancy test like it was a receipt I'd forgotten to throw away. My name's Marley. I'm 28. I used to think pain was something loud. Now I know it can whisper like a cracked door swinging in an empty house. Josh was everything, not in a perfect way. He had debt, he had moods, he chewed pens and left cabinets open. But he saw me. Really saw me. When my mom died, when I quit grad school, when I had my second panic attack on a Target floor, he was there. Not heroic. Just present. Until he wasn't. That morning I'd wrapped the test in a hand towel, placed it in the sock drawer next to his favorite dumb tie, the one with tiny lobsters on it, and I waited. Not a dramatic moment. Just gentle hope. He was supposed to come home at 6. At 6:47 I got a text. Going for a drive. Need to think. I told myself it was nerves. I told myself he'd come back with flowers. At 2:14 a.m. I heard his keys. I didn't get up. I just listened. His shoes hit the floor. His jacket slid down the hook. Then he said from the dark, "I can't do this. I'm in love with someone else." I laughed. I actually laughed. Until he said her name. Kelsey. My sister. The one who dyed her hair pink in high school and dropped out of nursing school because rules were for followers. The one who once dated my prom date just to test him. The one who never took anything seriously, especially me. I thought I'd scream. I didn't. I nodded. He left. And the next morning I found his favorite coffee mug still in the sink. There was a lipstick mark on it. Not mine. I didn't tell anyone at first. My dad thought Josh was working out of town. Kelsey posted a picture of ocean air on Instagram and tagged it somewhere near Big Sur. I tried to breathe. I started cleaning the house. Not in a symbolic way. In a if I stop moving I'll disappear way. I washed windows I hadn't touched in years. I scrubbed the floorboards with a toothbrush. And that's when I found it. Under the stairs. A sealed brown envelope with my name written in handwriting I recognized but couldn't place. Inside? One Polaroid. A blurry image of my sister. Sitting on my dad's lap. Her hand on his cheek. His lips close to her ear. And both of them, smiling. I stared at that photo for over an hour before I touched it. At first, my brain tried to logic its way through it, like maybe it was photoshopped, or old, or part of a weird family joke. The kind of photo someone would post with a caption this, and then argue about in the comments. But this wasn't online. This wasn't performative. This was real. Printed. Hidden. It wasn't even in a frame. Just stuffed in a manila envelope, yellowing at the corners like it had waited years for me to find it. I placed it face down on the kitchen table and made tea I didn't drink. The kettle screamed anyway. I didn't silence it. I kept hearing Kelsey's laugh. Not the fake one she used on dates or during TikToks. The real one, the one she'd used to mock me when we were kids. "You're too serious, March. You think life's a rulebook." Maybe it was. And maybe she figured out how to rewrite the pages. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't trust my voice not to crack. And I didn't want to believe not really. Not yet. Instead, I buried myself in errands. In lists? I restocked light bulbs. I bought a new toothbrush. I alphabetized the spice rack. Anything to keep me from pulling out that photo again. But of course I did. 4 days later. Midnight. I couldn't sleep. I opened the envelope like it might bite me. I noticed something I missed before. The background. A familiar couch. Blue plaid. Mismatched cushions. My dad's old place before he sold it. That couch had a burn mark on the armrest. Kelsey made it. She tried to iron a denim jacket because she didn't feel like waiting for the dryer. I was 15. She was 12. I remember yelling. He didn't punish her. He just smiled. Like it was cute. The smile in the photo, it was the same. That next morning I visited Dad. He looked older than usual. His hand shook when he poured the coffee. "Tremors," he said. "Nothing to worry about." But he kept glancing toward the window like someone might be watching. I asked if he'd heard from Kelsey. He hesitated. Just a blink. "No, why?" I wanted to scream because she was dating my boyfriend and now she's living with you? But I said, just wondering. He changed the subject to his lawnmower. I let him. Before I left, I glanced at the bookshelf. One frame stood out. A recent photo, him and Kelsey at a beach. She was barefoot. He was holding her sandals. She looked small, girlish, almost posed. Her hand was on his chest. That night I caved. I opened Kelsey's Instagram. She deleted all her old posts. Every one. Now her feed was blank except one. A blurry sunset. Captioned. Not all fathers are created equal. Some are worth everything. The comments were off. I felt sick. I scrolled through my messages. I hadn't texted her since my birthday last year. She never replied then either. But I did now. Kels, where are you? I just want to talk. No answer. At 3 a.m., I finally opened Mom's jewelry box. I hadn't touched it since the funeral. Inside, tucked behind the tarnished pins and faded perfume, was something that didn't belong. A necklace. Silver chain. Tiny locket. I opened it. Inside, 2 photos. On the left, me as a baby. On the right, not Kelsey. Not Mom. A third woman. Younger. With Kelsey's exact eyes. My stomach dropped. Taped behind the locket was a name. Julia, 1987. I don't know who Julia is, but I think she might be Kelsey's mother. And I don't think she's dead. The name stuck to my mind like dust in a sunbeam. Julia. Not our mom. Not a friend. Not a name I'd ever heard growing up, not in stories, not whispered arguments, not even as a mistake. But there she was, locked into a locket I wasn't supposed to open, her face pressed beside mine like we belonged together. I tried showing it to Dad the next morning. I held the locket in my hand like it might explain itself, like he might look at it and say, "Oh right, Julia, we used to know her. It's nothing." Instead, he dropped his coffee mug. Didn't curse. Didn't react. Just stared at the floor and mumbled. "Where did you get that?" I asked who Julia was. He didn't answer. He walked into the bathroom and locked the door. I stood in the hallway listening to the faucet run for 10 full minutes. When he came back out, his eyes were red. He told me he wasn't feeling well and asked me to leave. So I did. And I drove 3 hours to the one person who might remember something, Aunt Nancy. My mom's sister. We hadn't spoken in a while. After Mom died, she kind of faded out. No big fight. Just distance. She lived in a small coastal town where the fog sat like a lid. I showed up on her porch with 2 coffees and a tired smile. She opened the door and didn't ask why I was there. Just let me in like she'd been waiting. We talked. Not about Kelsey. Not about Josh. Not at first. I waited until we were sitting on her sunken couch and the sky outside turned that bluish gray that makes houses feel like caves. Then I pulled out the photo. The one of Kelsey on Dad's lap. She looked at it. Blinked. Then passed it back like it burned. I pulled out the locket next. Her hand trembled when she took it. And then she whispered. She said she'd take her away if your mom ever told the truth. I didn't speak. I couldn't. Nancy stared ahead, voice flat. Julia was real. She was 16. Your dad was 28. Your mom didn't know until it was too late. Kelsey was born 3 months before your parents got married. We were told never to mention it. I asked if Mom knew the truth. She nodded. But she didn't want Kelsey to grow up hating herself. So she lied. We all did. I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered. Did she ever confront him? Nancy's mouth twitched. Like she wanted to lie. But didn't. She tried. Once. That night she drove into the reservoir. I stood up so fast the tea sloshed out of my cup. You said she hit a deer. That's what we told you. There was silence. Then. He asked us to lie. Said you were too young to understand grief. Said you needed a version of the truth you could live with. A version. A version. That word stuck in my throat like bile. I drove home numb. I didn't speak to Dad. I didn't eat. I barely slept. 3 days passed before I heard from Kelsey. A text. Just one sentence. He's not who you think he is. I stared at it for 10 minutes. Typed 5 responses. Deleted them all. Then another message came through. Check the folder under his bed. The one marked Project S. That night, I drove to Dad's house while he was at his poker game. I'd never stepped into his bedroom alone before. It felt invasive. But I did it anyway. The folder was there. Black. Thick. Inside, dozens of photos. Of Kelsey. From age 4 to now. Some candid. Some clearly taken without her noticing. And a notebook. Page 1. The process of emotional realignment in secondary identity figures. Page 2. Phase 2. Accelerated attachment reversal. Page 3. A list of dates. All matching moments Kelsey had run away, got expelled, or disappeared for a while. And then a line written in red. Reprogramming complete. Obedience intact. No external interference. The last page had a photo of both of us. Me on the left. Kelsey on the right. A line drawn between our faces. Underneath. Redundant model. Clean break recommended. Some people talk about starting over like it's romantic. Clean slates. New keys. Morning runs with podcasts about healing. But starting over doesn't mean starting clean. It means learning how to carry rot without smelling like it. I didn't tell anyone what I found in that folder. Not yet. I walked out of that bedroom with the notebook zipped under my coat like it was evidence I had no idea how to use. Like a weapon with no instruction manual. I drove home in silence. No music. Just the sound of tires and panic. For 3 days I didn't leave my apartment. I turned off notifications. I watered my plants too often. I reorganized the medicine cabinet. I watched birds fight over crumbs outside my window and felt weirdly jealous. They had rules. I kept the notebook under my mattress. I read it every night. Not all at once, I couldn't. I could only take it in fragments. The diagrams. The terms. Obedience imprinting, family bond distortion, submissive mirror projection. None of it read like science. It read like worship. And Kelsey, she was everywhere in it. Photos with dates. Logs of emotional responses. A checklist of identity erosion markers. She wasn't just the subject. She was the purpose. And me? I was the variable. At one point there was a taped photo of us as kids. Kelsey had circled her own face and scribbled. Promising traits, mimicry, impulse dissociation, selective bonding. Next to my face he'd written. Impediment. Resistant. Possibly inherited maternal vigilance. It made my skin crawl. But what broke me wasn't what I read. It was what I remembered. Our mother's slow unraveling. How she'd start staring at things mid-sentence. The way she used to lock the bathroom door even when she wasn't inside. The night she burned dinner and didn't apologize. Just watched the fire alarm blink. We said she was grieving. We said she was tired. We didn't say she was trying to protect us. I went back to her jewelry box that night. I wanted something. Anything. Buried under old perfume vials and a broken chain was a tiny dusty cassette. No label. Just a piece of yellow tape that read, 4M. I didn't even know where to play it at first. I bought a $12 player at Goodwill the next morning. I sat on the floor and pressed play. Her voice crackled through like it had to claw its way from the grave. Marley. I hope you're never hearing this. But if you are, something went wrong. I froze. I've tried everything. I kept quiet. I followed his rules. I let Kelsey sleep in our bed when she had nightmares even when I knew. He always said it was therapy. That the books made sense. That he was healing what I broke. But I didn't break her, Marley. I swear to God I didn't break her. I covered my mouth. If you find this, you need to know it wasn't an accident. The lake. I didn't swerve. I aimed. I just missed. My whole body went cold. He'll find you eventually. Just like he found her. But maybe you'll be stronger. Maybe you'll see it before it's too late. Silence. Then a sound I'll never forget. A knock. 3 soft knocks, like someone at a door she hadn't locked in time. The tape ended. I couldn't breathe. I curled up on the floor with that ancient machine humming beside me, and I stayed there until the sun came up. When I finally got up, I looked in the mirror. My eyes were swollen. My skin gray. But beneath that, a single horrifying thought. He's not done. The worst part about knowing is pretending you still don't. Pretending you're fine. Pretending to answer phone calls. Pretending to smile when the neighbor says, "How's your dad doing these days?" Pretending you didn't find a notebook detailing your sister's reprogramming like she was some kind of dog. Pretending your mother didn't try to drive into a lake to escape it. The pretending made me nauseous. So I stopped. I showed up at his house on a Sunday. No text. No warning. He opened the door in slippers, the kind with suede trim and fur on the inside. He wore those every Sunday after church, even though he hadn't been to church since Mom's funeral. He acted surprised but not alarmed. "Marley, what a nice surprise." I walked in. Didn't say a word. Just sat down on the couch. The same one from the photo, old, reupholstered, but still stained on the armrest where Kelsey left the burn. He offered coffee. I shook my head. He sat across from me. Legs crossed, like we were at a therapy session. "Something on your mind?" I pulled out the notebook. He flinched. Not big. Not dramatic. Just a small twitch under his left eye, like a glitch. I placed it on the coffee table between us. "Want to explain?" I asked. He looked at it. Looked at me. Then exhaled slow. "You always were curious." He said it like a compliment. Like a trait he'd once admired and now found inconvenient. "Where did you find it?" I didn't answer. He nodded as if confirming something only he understood. "I never meant for you to see that." I waited. "You weren't supposed to be part of the experiment." "Not originally." My throat tightened. "But your resistance, your anger. It fascinated me. You never broke. Not even after your mother passed." I stared at him. He didn't flinch. Kelsey was malleable. Eager to please. "But you were an outlier. A complication." His voice was calm. Academic. Like we were discussing a failed chemistry trial. "Is that what she was to you?" I asked. "A test subject?" He blinked. "She was lost. I gave her structure." "You slept with her." He didn't deny it. Didn't look ashamed. Just said. "She was an adult." My hands curled into fists. "She was your daughter." "Not biologically." He said it like a fact. Like a technicality on a form. "That doesn't matter," I hissed. He leaned forward. "It mattered to your mother." That hit harder than it should have. Like he was still trying to win an argument with the woman he buried. "You broke her," I said. "And you're trying to break Kelsey too." He sighed. "Kelsey is fine. She's happy. She has purpose. She has me." I stood. "She's not yours." He looked up. "But she chose to stay." I walked to the door. "Not for long." He laughed. Quiet. Arrogant. "You think you can save her now? After everything?" I turned back. "No," I said. "But I can end it." His smile faded. I left without closing the door. That night, I sent Kelsey everything: photos, notebook pages, even the tape. I wrote, "If you stay, he'll finish what he started. But if you want out, I'll be here." She didn't reply. But 2 hours later, someone knocked on my door. It wasn't her. It was a woman. Late 40s. Pale. Tired eyes. She said one sentence. "I'm Julia." And I never stopped looking. I didn't invite Julia in right away. She stood on my porch with windblown hair and no coat, like she wasn't sure if she was welcome or just done waiting. And I wasn't sure what scared me more, the idea that she might be a liar. Or the idea that she was telling the truth. "He took her from me," she said. And they all let him. I opened the door. We sat in silence for a while. She didn't ask for tea. I didn't offer any. There's a kind of grief that tastes like metal in your mouth, and neither of us wanted to dilute it. She pulled out a folder. Inside were old court documents, barely legible photocopies, and a typed letter from a shelter in 1995. "They said I was unstable," she murmured. "That I had delusions. I was 17. He told them I was obsessed. That I broke into his house." I flipped through the papers. A diagnosis of emotional lability. A discharge form. A restraining order against her. He said I was dangerous. That I needed help. She paused. "So they gave me pills instead of protection." I felt my stomach twist. I asked her why she came now. "Because Kelsey is in danger. Because you sent her the truth." She leaned forward. "And because she called me." That stopped me cold. "When?" 2 days ago. Just for a minute. But it was enough. She said she remembered the attic. My blood went cold. I didn't even know we had an attic. The next morning, everything cracked. I woke up to messages from 3 cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. "Hey, is it true about your dad? Someone posted something crazy. Are you okay? Kelsey's name is trending. Should we be worried?" Trending. I opened Reddit. There it was. Someone, not me, not Julia, had posted screenshots. Pages from the notebook. Photos. A clip from the tape. The title. "I think my best friend is trapped in a cult, led by her own father." I didn't know the account name. Didn't need to. It wasn't anonymous. It was Kelsey. The post exploded. People speculated, commented, argued. Some accused her of faking it. Others called it the most disturbing thing they'd read in years. Someone even made a reaction video with dramatic music. But buried in the chaos were comments that chilled me. I remember him. He taught my after-school class. Always gave me the creeps. My mom warned me about that guy years ago. This explains why she disappeared for 6 months in 2019. And then, the media got involved. Within 12 hours, our family name was trending in bold on Twitter. I got 3 calls from local reporters. One knocked on my neighbor's door by mistake. A different one emailed me a link to my own mother's obituary and asked if I'd confirm or deny the timeline. I ignored them. But not everyone did. Dad texted, "Meet me." 1 hour. No press. No cops. No lies. I didn't answer. Instead, I went to Julia. She was pacing her motel room like a ghost trying to remember who she used to be. "He'll try to flip it," she said. "Make her feel guilty." "Make you feel guilty." "He already did," I said. "Then don't let him again." I didn't sleep that night. I scrolled through old texts from Kelsey. Most were short. 1 word. Some had emojis. None said much. Except one from 2 years ago. Sent at 3:16 a.m. "Do you ever feel like you're living inside someone else's plan?" Back then, I just sent back a. Now I knew exactly what she meant. The next day, I opened my door and found something resting on the welcome mat. A single envelope. Inside. A key. No note. Just a label. Attic. Before he does. The attic door was hidden behind a false panel in my father's hallway closet. I found it by accident once as a kid, chasing a dropped Lego into the corner. He told me it was just insulation, dangerous nails, dead mice. I never looked again. Until now. The key was cold in my palm. Brass, old-fashioned, the kind you only see in horror movies or rehabbed Victorians. My hands shook as I slipped it into the lock behind the coats. It turned too easily. The panel clicked. The ladder creaked as I pulled it down. It smelled like dust, cedar, and something faintly chemical, like an old hospital. I climbed. 1 rung. Then another. Each step felt like a heartbeat. The attic wasn't empty. It was arranged. Neat rows of boxes labeled in perfect block lettering. Subject K of Phase 1. Emotional Triggers Group 2. Diary Simulation Exercises. I didn't know what any of it meant. I didn't care. What stopped me wasn't the files. It was the room behind the curtain. He had built a space up there, no windows, soundproofed, with a single mattress on the floor. A desk. A mirror. Taped to the mirror were dozens of post-it notes. All the same phrase. "I trust you. I trust you. I trust you." Each one written in Kelsey's handwriting. And below that a child's drawing. Faded, crumpled. Stick figures. 3 of them. A tall man. A girl. And a woman drawn upside down, face crossed out. I sat down on the mattress. I stayed there for a long time. Eventually, I took out my phone. I texted Kelsey. "He won't hide this anymore." She replied. "I know. I'm ready." That was the last message she ever sent me. 2 weeks passed. Then the arrest. It wasn't dramatic. No sirens. Just 2 detectives, a plain car, and my father looking confused for the cameras. "I just tried to help them," he said. The photos leaked. The notebook did too. The tape, that made the news. But the attic? That never made it into the articles. I never let the cops take it. I burned everything inside. Every note. Every photo. Every whisper of a lie. Ashes in the fire it. Smoke that didn't choke. For once I didn't flinch. Kelsey disappeared again. Not like before. No fake trips or cryptic captions. She just left. No one knows where. No one asked me. Julia said she thought it was good. Let her be invisible just this once. On her own terms. I think about that a lot. The house is sold now. I never stepped inside again. Didn't want to feel the ghosts rearranging the furniture. I live in a small place now. Nothing fancy. I paint sometimes. Nothing good. But it keeps my hands busy. I keep my mom's locket in a drawer. I don't wear it. But I keep it close. Sometimes I listen to the tape. Not all of it. Just the first few seconds. "Marley, I hope you're never hearing this." And then I pause it. Because I am. And she was wrong. I was supposed to hear it. I was supposed to break the pattern. Last week, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just a photo inside. It was a beach. 2 chairs. 1 pair of sandals in the sand. On the back, written in sharp black ink. Some fathers don't get to come back. I smiled. Then I folded the photo in half and dropped it into the ocean.